Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to Reader's Workshop, the fourth edition, quarantine, of course. And we have some fun stuff planned for today. Get ready. In fact, that's what I'm going to tell you next. You need to get set up. So make sure that you have all of the supplies you need to be successful for Reader's Workshop. Then we get to have our meeting together, and then you have your independent reading time. It's going to be great. At the very end, you're going to wrap it all up, and you're going to take some pictures of your work, and you're going to send it to us, and you'll be done. It's going to be simple as that. What do you need for setup? Well, take a look at the list. It's 6 easy things. Something to read for 30 or plus minutes. Your reader's notebook is very important, or something to write on. Post-it notes, if you have them, but something to write on is plenty. Pencil, because if we mark on a pen on a book, it's not good. Bookmarks or a tracker, and a comfy area to sit, but not too comfy. We don't want you to pass out. Take a look at the stop and jot notes. I will again attach this as an anchor chart for you to reference and add on. What another idea would be to add this actual stop and jots anchor chart into your own reader's notebook. So then that way you can reference it anytime you want. Today, what we are tackling, dun, 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 tricky words. Any book that you read, you're going to pick it up and open it up and think it's going to be a blast, but then you get tripped up by tricky words. So today's focus, we're going to figure out how to tackle those tricky words so that they don't mess up your smooth reading. So we're going to take a look at an anchor chart that I will be including as well in our Google Classroom. When our words try to trip us up and they get tricky, we need to roll up our sleeves and get to work. It's not going to be easy, but these are a few strategies that will help you to understand each of the words that you find tricky in your book. Take a look at some of these. Check the picture and think, do these words make sense? If you're lucky enough to have pictures in your book like I do in Shark Lady, yes, there are a few pictures in this book, and it is super cool to see these pictures. See what's happening in the story. You can usually figure out words by context clues, which would be very helpful. Look through the whole word part by part. And there's an example down there that says tambourine. Look for a word inside of a word. Sometimes we could figure it out by picking apart the word. And don't give up. And sometimes we just need to take a guess. Sometimes we reread and ask, does this make sense? Instead of father, maybe it should be feather. Use vowels. Use the vowel teams and ask, would this sound help and make it sound easier? And don't just say the words. You also need to figure out what they mean. We're going to get into that right now. When you run into a tricky word and you can't figure it out after trying those different strategies, it's time to put it in the word bank. Boom, boom. The word bank is going to be at the back of your reader's notebook if you haven't started one already. You're going to add words that you don't know, and with your iPad or your dictionary, you can figure out the meanings to these words. You're going to put the definitions in there with them. Let's go take a look how we would look up words on Google. Hey, boys and girls. So here I am at Google, and I'm going to type in the search bar up at the top one of the words that I found tricky in my Shark Lady book. And that word was parasite. Now, it's very important that you actually spell this word correctly, because if you don't spell it right, you're going to get the wrong word to pop up. So make sure you have your book open to the right page so that you can find exactly where that word was. I marked it with a stop and jot, but I also wrote it in my word bank, and I double checked to make sure that it was spelled right. You can just type in the word, but since I also see a movie popping up, I'm just going to write definition. Here we go. Okay. And it's going to take us to a site right on top, dictionary. Look at how perfect this is. I know what this word is now, but if you didn't know how to say this word out loud, you could click on this little speaker and listen what happens.
Parasite.
Well, parasite. I know that word.
Parasite.
Oh, I can get it to read it over and over
Parasite.
again. Very cool. An organism that lives in or on an organism of another species, its host. Oh, that makes a lot of sense, because I was reading about fish that like to swim around with sharks, like remoras. I also had another word that I wanted to look up, and you can just search for a word right here in the dictionary. Streamline. There's another one that I was kind of having a hard time with. And again, I can have it read it out loud to me.
Streamline.
Very nice. And here's my definition. Designed or provide with a form that presents very little resistance and flow of air or water, increasing speed and ease of movement. Oh, streamline. Now, that applies to a shark because it's in that long, narrow kind of body shape that could probably help it increase speed and move easily. Super cool. Now, I'm going to add these definitions to my reader's notebook, and I hope you are doing the same. So this is what I've discovered with word banks. You can be reading any book and still find words that are tricky for you. These were just a few words that I found that were tricky inside the books that we are currently reading with our class and not just in Reader's Workshop. There's going to be words everywhere and they're all going to be a little different. I really wanted to show you this other part that I saw too. So I was looking at Old Yeller and I saw this word called raw-boned, and they have a lot of old terms that I wasn't sure that they were going to be able to find for me, but check it out. In my dictionary, raw-boned is an adjective and having a bony or gaunt physique. I don't know if that definition really helps me, but take a look. Similar, thin as a rake, lean, gaunt, bony, skinny. People also ask, what does raw-bone mean? The definition of raw-boned: relatively thin with a predominant bone structure, heavy framed and rugged, but not attractively built. Oh, well, these are more words that help me understand what I didn't understand before. And so these are definitely things that can help you when you're looking up words. Some of them are going to be words that you can find a definition to, and some might not be. And that's when we're going to have to roll up our sleeves and get to work. So now it's your turn. I want you to keep enjoying your book. Make sure you read for at least 30 minutes, but most likely more. After you're done reading, you're going to do two things. Please take a picture of your word bank that you're creating and make sure that if you already had a word bank that you're showing us the new words that you added in from today. Please take a picture of any new Stop and Jots that you also made and make sure that you rename them to submit to Google Classroom. Everybody should be turning in at least 2 pictures today. Thank you guys. Read on.